Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory is due to
Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect and the sincere Akim, pushing his word, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. The GMS Plaintables Camp, back out here another week to prophesy the downfall of the survivors of the kingdom and to help make the elect up who have been scattered through the four corners of the earth, mainly here in the Americas, who are the so-called blacks, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans, and the speckled birds that reside in the other nations, that look like the other nations, that come from the seed of Jacob. To you, we say Shalom. Apostle Zahar couldn't have termed this year a better term than the year of the turn-up. Prophecies are jumping off the page. Where can we start? Wars, rumors of wars, pestilences, earthquakes, famine, you name it, it's happening. But the most important thing that's going to happen is judgment is coming to the Lord's people. Who are the Lord's people? These men on this sign right here got judgment coming to them for their wicked ways. 1 Peter 4, verse 17.
This 1 Peter 4 and 17, for the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High.
Judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. Who is the most? Who are the Most High's children? Yashar's seed. Yah meaning he, Shar meaning prince, Allah meaning power. Judgment must begin at the house of Yashar Allah. What?
And if it begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High?
So if the Lord going to judge his own people, with a harsh judgment, imagine what he's going to do to the other nations. Now, how are we going to escape that judgment that the Lord is going to hand out to his people? Ezekiel 9 and 4.
Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. It reads, it says, and the Lord Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem.
Yeah, through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. Because Jerusalem is the people before it's a place. Go ahead.
And it says, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all abominations that is done in the
set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry. Going to that word mark, brother Sean. That's what we out here for. We out here to get that mark, to get that exemption from the Lord's judgment. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course, it's a Hebrew word, the wa. It says, desire, mark as a sign of exemption from judgment.
Yeah, because we out here, we pushing this word so we can get the exemption from judgment, because judgment is coming. Continue on.
Yep. Verse 5, it reads, it says, and to the others he said, in mine inheritance, go ye
in my hearing.
Slap you.
What is that? In my hearing.
Oh, mine hearing, pardon. It says, in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity.
Yeah, go through the midst of the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have pity. Continue on.
Verse 6. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children.
Slay utterly old and young, maids and little children. So when you see kids out here get judged, get ran over by cars, get shot by stray bullets, that's the judgment of the Lord. But
and women.
It said maids, it said women twice, because there's more women than it is men, and there's more judgment going to come out to these women than it is men.
But come not near any man whom he is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary.
Come not near any of the men that have the mark, that the wa. Come not near any of those men. So that's why we out here in the highways and the byways pushing this word so we can be exempt from judgment when judgment comes. And we're going to go into another scripture that speaks about that invisible mark upon the men.
Did you read the mark? The word mark?
Yeah,
read it again.
Yeah,
it's the Hebrew word for mark in Ezekiel 9 and 4. It says, the wa, a mark as a sign from exemption from judgment.
Yeah, the mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. Revelation the 7th chapter.
On this Revelation 7 and 1, it says, and after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
Yeah, that wind is judgment. The wind is nuclear destruction. 4 angels standing on four corners of the earth, holding back the destruction from the earth. So why?
Verse 2, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of the Most High in their foreheads.
Hurt not the earth, nor the wind, nor the sea, till we have sealed the servants of our living power in their foreheads. Continue on.
Verse 4, and I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
All the tribes of who?
The children of Israel.
Children of Ammon?
No, the children of Israel.
The children of Esau?
Children of Israel.
The children of Yasharallah. So these are the men that's going to get preserved from the day of judgment when it comes. You know? And it's going to be to the strangeness of the whole world's imagination. So can you get the wisdom in 5 and 1? Because our salvation is going to be strange. Because one minute we laying on grapes and at the bottom of society, you know, looking dusty and dingy and unfixable, in the twinkling of an eye, we're going to be changed. And this is one of the indicators right here that the prophet left, you know, aforetime, so we can get encouragement from. Read.
God, it's Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness.
Yeah, who those righteous men? You're looking at them right now. You might look hand me down and bum me, but the Lord put His Spirit on us to come out here and push this word. The righteous man is standing in great boldness, and there's nothing that our enemies can do. We had the protection from the Lord and the angels encamped around about us, protecting us from all our enemies, so that we can push this word and wake the elect up. Read.
Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him.
Who afflicted us? Our wicked twin brother, our oldest brother, Sleazy E. The Edomites. They had us in captivity for like 500 years here in America. And doing what? Locking us up, setting all kind of traps, redlining, you know, putting over policing our communities. Every little thing we do, we go to prison. They created something called the prison industrial complex, where it turned into a whole business. You know, we sweeping floors, we mopping dishes, and a few of us make it in society. You know?
And of course, you know, the dogs who lick the swords, you know, the other nations, you know what I'm saying? But mainly it's Esau who's the main one who afflicted us. So it says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors.
They made no account of our labors. They didn't give us no reparations. You know, but the other nations get reparations. The 1948ers get a certain amount of money every year for that, whatever they went through. But they're not going to give us no reparations. They don't have no intentions on letting up. But
verse 2, when they shall see it, there shall be a trouble with terrible fear.
Yeah, because when the Lord cracked the sky, all the nations going well. Because they're going to know in their spirit that judgment is coming. Why? Because they put their hand on the Lord's chosen people, which is the Israelites. But
when they shall see it, there shall be trouble with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation.
Amazed at the strangeness of our salvations. Because the chariots are something strange to this world, because the so-called Edomites, the one that make all the movies and publish all the documents, they know that, you know, the angels travel in chariots. But the rest of them, they kept that knowledge away from the rest of the world. But when the chariots make their appearance, it's going to be strange. They're going to think it's little green men inside of them. But we know that it's angels. They look like us. You know? But
it says, so far beyond all that they look for.
So far beyond all that they look for. Like I said before, they think we're going to be in this low down, decrepit situation forever. They not thinking about us getting victory. They thinking about keeping us under their foot so they could be happy and feel like they somebody. But it's a power great, the one that created the heavens and the earth has a plan that He's gonna come and redeem us from all the places that He scattered us to, mainly here in the Americas, with the strangers of His salvation. We're gonna get delivered in chariots. Anything more on that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Verse 3, And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach.
Well, the scoreboard gonna read 0 and they're gonna realize that the game is over and they was on the losing team. So they're gonna be groaning and gnashing their teeth, wishing that they was Israelites. But that's it.
Yeah, wishing that they listen to the prophets, you know, speaking about the Israelites, you know, because the 2/3 are also going to be looking at us, you know, going up in the chariots, Lord willing. But, you know, of course, Esau and other nations are going to be, you know, in that anguish of spirit as well. But going on, verse 4, you said read it again? Or?
Go ahead, you read it again.
Verse 3, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot among the saints?
Yeah, they sat there and watched us be in the decrepit position for over 500 years. And they never thought that we would be delivered out of this condition in the end. You know, but the man of the Lord is out here pushing his word, letting the elect of Israel know that, you know, turn to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope. We have hope coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, done. And then, you know, the Lord, he sent lowly men, you know, in some sackcloth. You know what I'm saying? We don't got no tuxedos on or, you know, no suit and tie. You know what I'm saying? The Lord sent lowly and, you know, the foolish of the world, you know, to condemn, you know, the rich.
Oh, so, go to 2nd Ezra 13. Start at the top.
The 2nd Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night.
Because in Job 33 and 15, it speaks about when you go to sleep, the angels come in and let me get that real quick.
In Job chapter 33 and verse 15 reads, in a dream and a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men and slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instructions.
When you're in deep sleep, the angels come, open up your ears, and seal your instructions. Boy, so that's what he did to Ezra. Read it over again.
2nd Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea that moved all the waves thereof. Verse 3, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven.
Who's that man? Yahweh Shah, with thousands of heaven. Who's the thousands of heavens? The angels. And one angel is strong enough to destroy this whole earth. So he coming with thousands of them. She's going to be traveling in the greatness of his strength. Go ahead.
You want a precept?
Go ahead, you got it?
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1. And I think that's verse
7.
1 and 7. It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. And also, and they also which pierced him, and all creatures of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so am I.
Yeah, the angels travel can cloak themselves in the clouds. And when the movie producers make these movies, you think that they're coming out their own intellect, but they got the knowledge of the scriptures. They put it in your face clear as day. But you know, the children of Israel, you know, they say the children of the dark is wiser than the children of light.
Children of light, children inside good gate, wiser than.
So the Edomites know how, you know, angels travel. You know, so they put it right in our face, and we don't understand what's going on. But the angels traveling, they can cloak themselves in the clouds. You know, that's why he said he coming with clouds, and every eye shall see. Because he said the ship was so big that it moved the waves thereof. Go ahead, continue.
Done. 2nd Ezra 13:3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice. Like
whensoever he moved, all things burned that were seen under him. That's how powerful the chariots are. Go ahead.
Laser beams.
Con.
Habakkuk 2.
All they burn, that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire.
Yeah, if you saw that movie War of the Worlds, when the chariots first appeared, everybody was standing around looking, nobody was speaking. They just amazed at what they were seeing. A couple seconds later, they just started blowing them into powder, hitting them with laser beams, blowing them into powder. And that's exactly what's going to happen when the Lord makes his return. All his enemies is going to get, even 2/3 of Israel is going to get eviscerated.
Yeah, and hey, I seen like this one video of like this bird. It was like he was like on like one of them telephone lines, and then he got struck by a little tiny bolt, and he completely got like eviscerated, completely vaporized. Like it was not one like thing left of him. So imagine the chariots, man, when they shoot them high concentrated fire, with lasers basically.
This is Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 4. And it says, and his brightness was as the light, and he had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Before it.
The horns coming out of his hand is the power.
Yep, the lights, beams of light.
Horns represent power.
You go into that word Quran, which is speaking about the rays of light, that concentrated fire. All right. And it says, before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth at his feet. And I got another precept. This is Jeremiah chapter 10 and 25. Pour out thy fury upon the heathen that knew thee not, and upon the families that call not on thy name, for they have eaten up Jacob and devoured him and consumed him.
That's your punishment for putting your hands on the apple of the Lord's eye, being eviscerated with those laser beams. So you have judgment. You think that you're getting away, that the Lord don't see you, oppressing his people. The whole time he's long suffering. He got a special date for all you wicked, even the wicked of our people. It's a special date waiting for y'all to get your judgment. But we out here to warn you. We're supposed to warn the righteous and the wicked, so the blood can be off our hands. So we out here to warn the righteous and the wicked of the judgment that's coming to America, because this place is not going to be inhabited no more. It's only going to be inhabited by desert creatures and wild animals. No form of human life will be on this earth. Will be here in America.
On this earth right here.
Yeah,
on the earth of America, yeah. All right, I'm gonna speak. Go be on the camera. It's loose. Let's go left and right if you need to. Tap the screen if you want to. It's kind of wide, so this started loose, so don't gotta grab that. Just slide it.
All right, gotcha.
Just want to tighten it up. Just tighten up that way.
All right, got it.
Give me So these brothers going into the destruction. Give me Proverbs, not Proverbs, Isaiah 24.
Isaiah chapter 24. Isaiah 24 and start at top. 5. It says the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
Right, so you got wicked Israelites that didn't keep the commandments. This is why you have people going around saying that you got to get a man is only supposed to have one wife. That's not even in the scriptures. The only thing it tells you about one wife is if you have the office of a bishop, all right? And that's advice, all right? So you can be more ordered, so you can take care of the things of the church, all right? But if you want to have more than one wife, you can have more than one wife. Everybody's not a bishop. When you have a bishop is pretty much like the elders of the camp or the head of the camp, all right? So read it again. So the earth is defiled. Right?
The earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
Right, yeah, so Israel had a covenant with the Most High, the Father. He broke his covenant. Circumcision, because you're supposed to be circumcised on the 8th day. every male child that cometh out of a woman is supposed to be circumcised. Right? So if you don't circumcise your children, you break the law. And if you break the law, you become the Lord, Yahweh, and the Son Yahweh Shai is going to push you farther away from him. So you'll have less power with Yahweh Shai to call on him for blessings, for help. He's going to give you over to different diseases. That's what the Lord going to do. If you can break the laws, all right, the circumcision is one. All right, well, let's go with the monogamy thing. All right, the Bible doesn't teach that a man's supposed to be monogamous. All right, so every thought and idea you have that's contrary to the Bible pushes you farther away, from the Torah, from the law, the prophets, the writings. Every contrary thought you have that's contrary to that pushes you farther away. So you can't just have 50% of it. You got to have 100% truth. All right, so if you believe, the Most High, God, Most High, that the Lord is the so-called black man, but you believe that you're not supposed to be circumcised, then you're going off. The Lord going to destroy you. All right? Meaning that you don't believe that it's lawful, that the Lord did away with circumcision. The Lord going to destroy you. Now, you off on one thing. Give me that when it says that if you transgress on one thing, you broke everything.
Jeremiah 4 verse 22. For my people is foolish, they have not known me. They are Sodom's children.
Yeah, Sodom means stupid. And going to it means our people are stupid. So if our people are stupid, why are we taking this instruction from them? Right? We can't take instruction and orders from the lowest of the people. Right? That's what you do in a corrupt system. You put the lowest people as the heads. You got a guy that can't even fucking read. You're gonna put him in the front with just 10,000 people. That's asinine. The guy that can't read, you put it in the back. You put him on the side. He does other things. You don't put him up in the front. Right? You get it again?
Time. Jeremiah 4 verse 22. For my people is foolish, they have not known me. They are Sodom's children, and they have none understanding.
They have none understanding. So we can't put these base people up front. And when you do that, you dilute the quality of the product. All right? And our ministry is supposed to be perfect. All right? The scriptures say we're not supposed to have schisms. We're supposed to be well studied. We're supposed to know what we're talking about when we come out and preach. All right?
Yeah. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge.
Yeah, wise to do evil. Our people are all into that wisdom to do evil. That's okay. They're supposed to be like that. That's why there's a separation between the best part, which is the elect, and then you got the rest. All right, they're the lesser part. All right, they're gonna be burnt up in this oven in Babylon, America. Then they're gonna come back in the next generation. All right, the next generation they'll come back. All right, but in this generation they're gonna be destroyed. All right, the Lord made, like Scripture say, the Lord made us subject to vanity. He only recovered a certain part, so you ain't even supposed to really pay them too much attention. All right, they had their lot. They received their prize. All right, and that's okay. But we got to dwell with them, so we got to kind of navigate with the bullshit sometimes. All right, so finish. Yep.
Got to change the story. Okay. It's Isaiah chapter 24, going back to verse 5. It reads, it says, the earth also defiled and the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left.
All right. So it says they changed the ordinances. All right. So they changed the meaning of what the words mean. When the scriptures say world, which they got that from the devil. All right. That was the second part. They got that from Satan. Their interpretation of meaning the words. They got that in a adapt plantation Christianity, and they run with that. And that's against the will of Yahweh Shai. You got to go for what the word meant when the Bible was written, when the Torah and Torah, saying it right? Yeah. The writings, all right, were written. So not you got to go with what those words meant, not what the modern interpretation is. Right? That's the mark of a liar. right? You try to go, well, the word world means everything encompassing. No, it don't mean that in the Hebrew and in the Greek. It don't mean that. Right? Then the English word world has like 25 definitions. Right? Now it says now the earth is consumed, burnt, and a few men left. Well, that goes onto the world transgression, the laws. Not keeping a dietary law, continually not recognizing the children, who the children of Israel are, right? Lying, polluting the earth with different chemicals and all that. Right? Polluting the earth. It says, woe unto them that destroy the earth. Roughly paraphrasing. Right? Is that 13?
Yeah.
Right? They they practice witchcraft. That's a big one. Right? And they get their power from the left-hand side. So what? So what the penalty is, the kingdom that they built up is going to be burnt. Right? That's the last part he read. Right? The earth is burnt and a few men left therein because they're not following the commandments of the Lord. Right? Even if they weren't following all of it, which they can't, there's certain things that are like common sense kind of things that are going to anger the Most High to a point where he's going to destroy the land like he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Right? So they transgress the law completely. They don't even keep part of it. Like they're totally against it.
Yep. I got Revelation as well. Yep. James chapter 2 and verse 10. It reads, I'll start, 10. It says, for whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all.
Yeah, so you have that point that we need Yahweh Shah, right? And all of us, come short of the glory, and we can't keep the commandments to the full in the flesh. So read that again.
Time. James 2 and 10. For whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all.
Right, that's why we need Yahweh Shah to manifest. Right? We need Yahweh Shah to manifest. And you got a whole group. Some of them use the word, they say Yah. Right? I mean, they use the abbreviation of the Most High name. Some of them might just say God. And they only believe in the Old Testament or believe in the law and the prophets. Right? There's a New Testament. It tells you that in Jeremiah 31. Right? It tells you that his son's going to be manifest to take away the sins of Israel. So, what are these Old Testament people talking about? It tells you that the New Testament is going to come into fruition, right? And that the Lord is going to sacrifice His Son to begin the beginning stages of that, of the New Testament. Right? The ultimate form is inheriting the kingdom, and our minds and bodies becoming perfect.
Revelation chapter, Revelation chapter 11 and verse 18. It says, and the nations were angry in thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto the servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth.
Right, and that's what Esau does. With his technology, with his policies, he helps destroy the earth. He pollutes the water, pollutes the air, and he pollutes the minds of the people. That's what he does. Right? And that's a part of his blessing and his curse. Like his blessing was to inherit the earth, to do with heaven and all that. But in turn, he's also destroying the earth. So he's under the curse at the same time. So his blessing is really his curse also. You got something else? Scriptures. You got something? Read what you got. Read it.
Sirach chapter 12 verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
You don't take what the government says at face value.